Artificial intelligence. What is it exactly? Is it Siri, Alexa, Google Voice? How can it enhance our human lives and help us fight cyber attacks, economic fraud, and improve the security? Paul, artificial intelligence in many recent movies, like Blade Runner, Her, Machine, is projected as a female voice or a robot. What is the perception of artificial intelligence in movies and in reality?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It's actually interesting. I tried to differentiate between artificial intelligence and robots, because robots usually are a machine that actually you program in such a way that they do certain tasks. Artificial intelligence is more like a program, like a software that is designed in order to learn by itself and to self-improve. But you're right, in a lot of movies, let's take the Metropolis 1927 movie, it was Maria was actually a female character. I think for the sake of the movie, a female character will attract more people, and that's actually how the movie starts. In reality, it's actually slightly different because you don't need necessarily actually a gender. The machine or the software can be any kind of human being to simulate the human. It can be a boy, can be a girl, can be a man or a female voice. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't actually need a body. So in reality, you don't necessarily need to have a gender at all. You see a lot of cases in software in the cars that you can translate, you can transcript the voice between a female voice or a male voice. Or for example, for kids, whenever an artificial intelligence application will interact with kids, it can have actually the voice of a boy or the voice of a little girl.
Okay, but female voice is always coming softer or friendlier, right?
It could be actually softer. Sometimes some people interpret the male voice as too harsh. But however, for example, for GPS or smart cars, you can change it. And even the nicest actually person or the nicest man can also have a very sweet voice as well.
In your work with artificial intelligence, investigating economic crime and fraud, you use accounting data and email correspondence. In which way artificial intelligence can scan other sources of data like social media?
It's very interesting because that's actually one of the most difficult things. It's true that when you have a number of different heterogeneous data sources like emails, structured data, unstructured data like voice, recordings, chat messages, or accounting data, you correlate that information. You use the application, artificial intelligence, to actually gather all those information to make it actually more readable, simple. When you talk about data sources that are in the cloud, in public area, like social medias, like for example, Twitter, you also need to catch those information, use the machine, use machine learning, use artificial intelligence to crawl into that data and to extract the relevant information. So since the data is expanding a lot, it's hard to actually distinguish what is relevant, not relevant with a human eyes. So you need artificial intelligence to actually detect, to identify what's relevant, and to actually put up, to focus on the most important ones. So you will use it. So you use more and more.
Yeah, it's much easier for artificial intelligence to crawl into that, online data and bring it out.
Of course, it's getting very, very important. And to correlate between the data that you have in a private one, like accounting or emails, and the public one, that's how you can actually gather the information, merge the information, and come up with the most relevant ones.
Can you estimate by how much more volume of cases you investigate more using artificial intelligence rather than using only human efforts?
That's very hard to estimate. Nowadays, with the advent of computing, high-power computing, and also with the exponential growth of data, you are faced with tons and tons of data. You are faced with trillions of data. In the past, I remember 10 years ago, you had maybe 2-3 terabytes of data to analyze. Now you're getting into the 20s, the 30 terabytes of data in 10 years' time. So the increase is really massive. So you need computing, you need artificial intelligence to help you dig into the data. It does never preclude the usage of human being. The human being will still be able will still need to be the ultimate decision maker. Because, for example, if you catch a face, there's a face that looks like a person, like John Smith. The machine will detect it and will say, oh, this is classified John Smith. But you as a human being, you're the ultimate person who has a brain to say, oh, but that's actually a mask. That's actually not the real person, because there are other actually instinctive aspect that will tell you this is not. So the human being will still be the one deciding, and luckily
keep in control. Yeah,
exactly, and that's very important. The human being will never be replaced totally by a machine or by artificial intelligence.
For us, Alexa, Siri, Google Voice are great examples of artificial intelligence. Which senses of a human being artificial intelligence can imitate, and which senses still cannot?
Yeah, the ones that actually you're mentioning about the artificial intelligence bubble, like Siri, Google, Alexa, they are already integrated into the everyday's lifestyle, because everybody's using it without sometimes even knowing it. They can hear, they can speak, they can actually view, but somehow the other senses that they cannot do is, for example, smelling and tasting. So among the 5 senses, there are still 2 that are coming already, but the most important one, usually what people are calling the 6th sense, is the instinct or the feeling.
Intuition.
Honestly, in my perception, we will get to that. We're not there yet. What is very important is that in movies you see robots or artificial intelligence, like the character in Ex Machina, who is actually able to show feelings.
Correct.
Okay, because it's learning. It's learning with the input of a human behavior. It's learning by itself, and it's improving itself. So if you get a machine or a robot or artificial intelligence, let's call it this way, to integrate or to input a lot and thousands of millions of different scenarios, the machine will learn by itself and will actually simulate some kind of feeling. But the only difference, it won't be a natural feeling because it's an input from something existing. It's an input from experience. It will never reach, actually, in my perspective, it will never, and luckily it will never reach actually the human being's feeling.
Yeah, the question is, can it simulate love, this feeling of love?
Yeah, but it's actually, you see, it's not human. So, and luckily, because it's not human, it is designed to help you with a number of tasks. Artificial intelligence is actually there to help you, to make your life easier, to make your life more efficient, to be more precise in, for example, analyzing actually different scenarios. But it's not going to replace the human. Some people are trying to replace the human with a robot, with a female robot as a companion, with a male robot as a companion, but it's different. So you don't have actually, you're talking to a machine.
Yeah, it's still not natural. But what are the challenges in developing this artificial intelligence to improve our human lives?
Yeah, I think the most important challenge is actually the human aspect, because right now a lot of people are still afraid with the advance of robot. They're feeling that their life will change and their work will be actually gone. Some of the workers are really afraid of being replaced by machines, by computers, or by artificial intelligence. I do have a little bit of nuances, is that the people should be welcoming artificial intelligence in such a way that they will create an ecosystem between the human being and also the high-power machine. Some of the boring work can be actually replaced. However, the person who's actually used to do those boring jobs, he will actually find a new way of actually changing his job to be an expert, because he will be the one deciding, say, okay, well, but that's actually a false positive. That's actually what I don't like to do, so I'm using the robot or the artificial intelligence to actually replace this. But I'm going to do only the interesting part. So the perception of the human being, I think this is the most challenging. Of course, there are like the geopolitical aspect, there's a technical aspect, there are rules, there's a legal aspect as well. But actually the human perception is the most important and is the most challenging one, because so that people will not be afraid, will be receptive enough to welcome this artificial intelligence. In any case, the kids nowadays, they are using artificial intelligence without even knowing it is happening, because it's integrating. So you are assisting in the next generation of actually kids who are already integrating this artificial intelligence into their day-to-day life. So they're no longer afraid of actually using it, because they don't know the downside of it. So it's really to create a human artificial intelligence ecosystem, which is the most challenging one.
To find the balance, and for us as humans to find, how can I say, our spot, our space in that whole, as you say, ecosystem. The ecosystem is the most important thing, so that human will not be just left and will not be actually separated. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching this interview with Paul Wang in partnership with Dukascopy TV. And stay tuned to our next episode of Insight Tomorrow with Yelena.